Hey everybody, Sergio with the Rideshare Guy. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Wheel. Today I'm joined by Robert or Bob from New Jersey, Clifton.
Hello, Sergio. Glad to
Uh,
meet you and Chris as well.
okay, thank you. We've been talking about a lot of issues with a lot of drivers on Behind the Wheel series, but then it's not all bad out there, right? And we're trying to give the most amount of tools in the driver's toolbox. And Bob has one of those tools that I think it's going to be crucial since Uber announced a partnership with Octopus Tablets, which is an extra income source for drivers. But before we get into any of that, Bob, welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Bob. I drive in the New Jersey Uber Lyft market. I've been driving for 3 years. I've also been with Play Octopus for 3 years, and I found it to be the best way to make a passive income while you're doing what you're already doing, driving. This
You
company.
said you've been driving for 3 years. I know New Jersey is one of the states that does not have upfront fares, right? So you're still kind of driving blind, but what do you see when Uber and Lyft send you a trip request in New Jersey these days?
Uber and Lyft only send us the pickup location. Well, Lyft sends everything. Okay, Lyft will send you pickup destination. They will send you everything about your ride as well as the pay. However, Uber keeps us blindfolded. Uber will only show you the pickup location. And there's been times when that pickup location is even blurred. So you really can't tell until you accept the ride exactly. Oh, now it's 15 minutes away. Okay, that's not the distance I wanted to travel. But
Yeah, so does that affect your cancellation rate, I'm assuming,
yeah,
right?
cancellation rate has been higher as a result of this last quarter. I feel Uber has really cracked the whip on drivers this quarter.
Yeah. So you said you've been doing it for 3 years, so you started right at the end of the pandemic, I guess. Um,
Yes, I started at the when the beginning of the pandemic hit. I started and one of the few drivers out there. So my competition was very little, and money was very good at that time.
okay.
It wants to put up a partition between me and the back, which also has sanitization on it as well. Uh,
Okay.
so that's started.
Yeah. What did you do before this, Bob?
I was in the snack business. I had my own business through Snyder's Pretzels, and I serviced various large supermarkets within our area here.
Okay. And what made you transition into gig work or rideshare specifically?
There was a time in the pandemic when the food stores were the only thing that were open, and the lines were just never ending. Um, I found that I was having problems getting enough product from the warehouse because it was not being produced enough. So that ties in directly to the amount that I make. I made a choice at that time to sell the business and start elsewhere.
Okay. What kind of car do you drive, by the way?
I drive a Toyota Sienna.
Perfect. Is obviously you can do Excel, right? And
I do XL and X with
is it
it.
a hybrid?
No, it is not. It's a 2017, so it is a gas model, has the automatic doors.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your 3 years of doing Uber and Lyft. Okay.
Mhm.
What have you seen? What have you experienced in your Jersey market? Because Jersey is one of those places that I do get a lot of I'm not going, well, yeah, kind of complaints that people say, well, we still don't know where we're going. You guys are so lucky
I
that
uh,
you're seeing where you're going, like the destination of the passenger. But then I respond back saying that, upfront fares is not everything you guys think it is. Because upfront fares has come with a rate cut. I mean, drivers are making less money with upfront fares. There is no ifs and buts about that after, a couple of years. So how have your earnings been being in a market without upfront fares? Are you making the same money you were making 3 years ago?
No, I have seen the rates decrease. Also, the promotions have drastically decreased. I see it, for example, in northern New Jersey, that Uber is the priority service. You'll get more rides with Uber than you will with Lyft. However, in southern Jersey, when you go down the shore, that's not the case. Lyft seems to be more the dominant force in that marketplace. I, as an independent contractor, have said I do not take New York trips, period.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The passenger will get upset. They get loaded in the car. I have them unload. Hey, listen, my simple explanation is the TLC has laws that are above Uber, above you, and above me. If they say I can't pick up a ride in New York, then I can't take a ride to New York because I lose money. Very simple.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's one of the major complaints actually that I receive.
yeah,
At least a few emails a week saying,
yes,
"Hey man, I don't mind doing these trips, but once I get into the five boroughs, right, I cannot
yes.
pick up, and I have to dead mile back to a point, and it's a loss for me." And why do you think they're doing that, Bob? Why do you think they're not allowing you? Well, I know why, but I want
Well,
to
I
hear it
know
from
why.
you.
The world knows why. Come on, Serge. A taxi will cost more. A New York driver is typically what Uber is supposed to send if the algorithm was programmed correctly. You have a New York license plate. I'm requesting a New York ride. We're going to send this car to you. The reason that is not done is because once you cross the New York state lines, that Uber driver from New York may be subject to a higher rate. The New Jersey driver is still paid on the New Jersey rate.
Yeah.
So Uber is getting it done for cheaper.
Yeah. And the other thing I think is that there is also caps that when you, through the TLC laws or regulations, there is caps in New York City that, if all the Jersey drivers went into New York and started driving, there probably would be an oversaturation problem. But I think it's quite unfair, especially for New Jersey, because look, I mean, a lot of New Jerseyans, right, work in New York City and they do the commute, let it be through public transport or I lived in New York for 9 years, so I know. And I think quite unfair to you guys, the guys in Jersey, that, you're not allowed to pick up in the city. And,
Well,
but,
we're
but then
also
the
not allowed to pick.
New York City drivers are allowed to pick up in Jersey. That's the thing, right?
So is Pennsylvania and Connecticut as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite
So
unfair. So you said you've been at it for 3 years. You've seen the, quests, obviously, or incentives being cut over the last, year, especially. I'm seeing that myself.
I could go back through my driving records and see at least $120 difference in promos.
Yeah,
Now they're giving you $10.
yeah, yeah. So, well, earnings are down, let's say. What percentage do you think your earnings are down from 3 years, 2 years ago?
I couldn't even guess.
Okay.
30% minimum.
Okay. Are you a full-time driver?
I do other things on the side, but yes, I am essentially a full-time driver.
Okay. Give me your typical day. Give me Bob's typical day doing Uber.
Uh, I do 3 shifts, probably 6 a.m. till about 9:30. Then I'll come home, get something to eat, head back out around 3 o'clock till about 6 o'clock. And I may shut down if it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday night after that. But then my third shift would start my nights, which run around 8 o'clock till 1 or 2 in the morning. I live very close to MetLife Stadium, so that's a great advantage for me.
Yeah.
Which is also not too far from Prudential. So I try to work my evenings as concerts.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously you're a veteran. Well, you're a veteran 3 years now, and you know what you're doing, right? You're trying to maximize your earnings as much as you can with strategies and double shifts, triple shifts. These are all the things we tell drivers to do, because you can't just go out there at 1 in the afternoon and expect to make money. You know what I'm saying? So
there are other things that I understand, that I've learned, but the process of learning for drivers is something that you have to go through and experience yourself to fully gain the knowledge of what you need in these markets as they get tougher.
yeah. So I asked this to every behind the wheel person that I interview. And then we'll get into your passive income situation with Octopus. Um, Give me two things you like about rideshare, and give me two things you dislike about rideshare.
Well, the thing I like about rideshare is I like to meet people. I like doing my own thing during the day. The things that I don't like is you have someone above you controlling how much you make and your ability to earn. And that's an algorithm, a machine language. So it's at times dehumanizing, but you try and keep a positive beat on life, and some of the trips just make your day.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree with you. I mean, a lot of people do it for the flexibility, obviously, and
Mhm.
the freedom, they call it. I mean, I'm not buying too much into that these days. That has changed quite a bit from what it used to be. But the
I
other thing
used
that
to
people,
do this 3 days on the weekends at an event and make what I'm making now in a week. Okay. So I used to do this in 3 days work.
yeah,
It's now taking me 7.
yeah. So you're working longer hours to make the same amount of money. Basically, that's the complaint with everybody that I speak to. The other thing is, a lot of people say, nobody's watching over me. I don't have a boss touching me on the shoulder saying, do this, do that. But then I tell them, look, you have the algorithm. The algorithm is your boss. It's watching you 24 hours a day, not 8-hour shift. You know what I mean? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Their access to your phone and data is just incredible. The
Yeah.
amount of access that they have to your information.
Yeah. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, because you were in our last live stream and quite active, and it seems like you know the ins and outs about pretty much everything about Octopus Tablet. It was in the news last week, and Uber, signed an agreement or made an agreement with Octopus that they're going to start, they have a partnership going on now, and with T-Mobile as well.
Yeah.
So, but you had it, you said, for 3 years, right, in your car?
Yeah. Talking about them as a company, I'd like to go back to when Chris first mentioned that it wasn't in his market yet.
Yeah.
Octopus started out as a small company using an LTE-4 to communicate and to give advertisements to drivers. That was limited by certain areas, phone capability wise. As 2020 came around, a lot of G5 construction happened. At that point, T-Mobile bought Octopus. I had to send in my tablet. I got a new tablet, and Now the only difference I see is that when it fires up T-Mobile, and I get the ting-ti-di-ding. So that's the only thing that I've noticed as far as the difference of the company goes. But I think T-Mobile also offered the opportunity to go nationwide for Octopus. Octopus is still the same 20 people that it was when it first started. The person that you call the customer service for your tablet is going to be the same person who ships you the tablet.
Yeah.
It's just a great small company. I've never had any problems with payouts. They do have meetings where we all get together and they have different competitions. It's a very interactive community. They take driver suggestions. For example, I said, look, I get so many Spanish clients and there's no interaction for them. The interaction is typically a ball game.
Yeah.
So you have 3 balls. Okay, I'll pick the middle one. That's the interaction that they'll get from you, just sitting back doing nothing. And once you interact, then you go throughout the games that you like and play what you want. Yeah. But
so, I want to just preface here that Bob is not affiliated or works for Octopus. He just loves the product. He loves because on our channel we have trolls that show up like, oh, that guy's a Kool-Aid drinker or whatever. I'm like, hey,
no,
man.
I have nothing to do with the company other than I think they're fantastic. I wish Uber had services that Octopus offers, which brings me to the next subject. It pains me to see they've joined up with Uber. Because Uber is a sinking ship that's looking for hooks to grab onto. Octopus is the largest company in existence for this type of data that they're looking to get involved with. I feel as though Uber tablets didn't do as well as they thought.
Yeah, well, Uber got into advertising business big time now, right? So
let them run their own tablets.
Yeah, well, you know how that goes in the business world, right? We have something ready, already functioning, just go buy them out and stuff instead of,
I know.
You know how that goes.
Happened once already with T-Mobile. Yes,
well,
Serge.
Well, the other thing is, I agree with you actually that I'm kind of sad to see a great little company who's doing right things, listening to drivers, going to a company or not merge, but get in bed with a company that never listens to drivers. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I expect
drivers have to say.
Yeah, I said it. Don't worry. But tell me a little bit about, I mean, you said you had a great experience. You had it for 3 years. Obviously, it's for passive income, extra money, right? What kind of income are you getting out of your tablet on a weekly, monthly basis?
You can make about $100 a month, but what interaction is happening is I get groups of people, groups of 5.
Yeah.
And it definitely is awkward. To have this little game there is just something. When you're on a 30-minute ride, they'll start to play with it and they start to learn things. Okay, so for example, what are some of the things that they've done for drivers? I said, look, I have Spanish customers. All of a sudden, now there's a game where you can play Spanish word translation to English word. Yeah. So if you're bilingual, you're learning something as you're riding. If you're curious about science, you can learn something as you're riding. It's something that is a useful thing in today's society to use your unproductive time productively.
Yeah, it's an icebreaker too, right? I mean,
Yes,
not every driver is a talkative person.
Absolutely is an icebreaker. Yeah. Starts the conversation. I wouldn't say creates more tips. Occasionally, yes, but more so with children in that scenario because they're getting their kindergarten education on the ride home.
Yeah.
It goes through that type of stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's just a great learning tool um, that really allows you to use your inactive time a little more wisely.
Yeah. The other thing is, I mean, $100 is a couple of things, I guess, right? So to me, it's like, I mean, in this day and age where incentives have disappeared, as you called it correctly, $100 is $100, and it may go actually higher for the fact that now with the Uber relationship, Uber also outside Octopus may pay you something for it, but that remains to be seen. So, how many tablets are in your car? Is it one or two or?
Yeah, you're only allowed one tablet. I would like to have two because I've got, rows of seats.
Yeah.
So there's always an option for me to put the Uber one in, but I would not do that.
Okay. So you're happy with the product and you're hoping
Oh,
that Uber doesn't F it up.
exactly. Exactly. I know that I'm getting about 2.5 cents a ride and half a cent if they interact. And, that's what it is. It's not a big deal. I don't see that changing. I'm just disappointed that Uber being involved will just change this small company feel that I've been dealing with. And they're such great people. They have Friday meetings where you can all drivers log in and talk to each other, talk about experiences, problems, how to get the unit up and running. Sometimes they do updates. Um,
Well, we're going to
so
try to include the short little video that Bob is provided for us. Hopefully our editing will be fine on that one. So you guys can see the ins and outs and the way Octopus tablets work. Because he's very knowledgeable about it. So we have a few minutes remaining here. So how much longer are you going to do rideshare, Bob?
Well, I'm actually looking outside of rideshare now. I'll probably get into computer programming again, which is an area I came from. I have a college degree in that, so probably take some boot camp courses, get back along those lines. This is just no longer sustainable.
Yeah, unfortunately so. But then, our advice has always been, use these apps towards your plan B, and it seems like you do have a plan B.
Mhm.
And to end this wonderful conversation, I again ask every driver I interview, you know, give me some advice. Give our audience some advice. A lot of people are going to watch this, so give us some advice about. Doesn't have to be rideshare, life, whatever it is. I mean, you've experienced life,
Um,
so give us
my
our audience some
my
advice.
my advice to you is to get up positive every day. Um, Come home, positive mood, leave all that Uber stuff at the door as you enter with your family. Um, Live your life happy, be happy, bring sunshine to the day.
Well, I appreciate the advice, obviously. And you know what it is, in my personal case, I'm so involved with all the aspects of this now that it's kind of difficult to do what you just asked me to do, which is leave it at the door. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I'm like in a hard place and a rock. I'm between 250,000 drivers, which I love and care for on one side, and then these companies on the other side.
Yep.
And it's tough to deal with these people, Bob. Trust me.
I know. I've seen you grow with the channel. I've been watching you and several other YouTubers. So I've seen you all grow over the years. And it's very good for me to see that the community is following you and learning because it only ends up with a better driver coming out to Uber's customers. That's the end result.
Yeah.
And you're providing that by educating them all.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that better myself, actually. The other thing is you educated us today on how to create some passive income for a lot of drivers who need it these days. I mean, look, they're making less money. And
That,
if
that's
it's
my
$100, it's $100. If it's $200, it's $200. But it's something. Something is better than nothing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Well,
if
I appreciate you doing this.
you're doing it anyway, it's passive.
Exactly.
All
Exactly.
you have to do really is in the morning before your shift, check to make sure it's on. Okay, got power. That's it. Simple.
Yeah. No,
Simple.
I couldn't agree more. And then we're going to obviously, we will keep pushing it. We have no, I mean, we do have some affiliation with Octopus, but
Mhm.
I'm like you. I'm hoping
Look,
Uber
I
doesn't
do
F it
earn
up.
a referral code if it's used, but I'm not even providing the referral code here.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's what my take is on this.
Yeah.
Take nothing. This is all for the good of the drivers.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Stay healthy and stay safe, and we'll see you around.
Thank you, and the best to you and your family, and to Chris and his family as well. Be well.
Thanks for watching this episode of Behind the Wheel on the Rideshare Guy. We've been doing these interviews for the past 6 months with very successful drivers from different cities around the nation. Click here for another episode. Make sure you subscribe and turn on all notifications for other episodes of Behind the Wheel as well as amazing content on our channel.